Hello friends, so in this session we are going to learn how to write the Java source code, how to compile it, and how you are going to execute with the help of interpreter, how to run our first Java application. So let's start. First, use any text editor to write your source code. Source code is nothing but the instruction that you are writing to create the program. So you can use any text editor to write your source code. You can use Notepad, you can use a text edit, you can use Notepad++, any text editor can be used. So here I am using Notepad. Now let's write some program. So I'm writing the program. I'm writing class hello world. Inside this, I'm writing the statement to print some message. So let's just say that our programming task is, the task of this program is to write some message to the console. So when we are going to execute this program, some message will be displayed on the console. What is the message that we are going to provide here? So this is the structure you have to follow when you are writing the program, the Java application. So you have to write some class with some name, and then you have to write public static void main with a string, bracket, and then some name, and after that what you want to do. So I want to print some message to the console. If you want to print some message to the console, then you are going to use this statement system.out.println. I want to print welcome to Java world, and then I want to print welcome to Java programming. So this is what I want to display, the message on the console. So we have a source code, we have implemented the source code, and we want to compile it. The meaning of compiling is we have implemented the instruction. Now it has to be verified by the compiler whether the statement is valid or not. We are using the valid rules from the Java vendor or not. We are following all the rules and the instructions or not. So all these things will be verified by the compiler. So we have implemented some source code. Now let's save this. So now we are going to choose some location to save our file. Let's just say I am choosing a D drive. Inside this, I am creating a folder called code, and inside this I am going to save the file. So now I am giving some file name. Now you can give the file name, say hello world .java. So any Java source code you are going to write, the extension of your file must be .java. So here we can give hello world.java. Now when you are going to give the file name like this, hello world.java, then use the save as type as all files, so that whatever extension you are providing, only that extension will be used. If you are using the save type as a .txt, sometimes if you are giving the name as hello world.java, it may use the file name as hello world.java.txt. So if you want to provide the name in such a way that whatever extension you are providing, you want to use the same extension, either provide the name in the double quotes, provide the file name in the double quotes, so that whatever file name you are giving, whatever extension you are giving, the same extension will be used. Or you specify the save as type as all files, so that whatever extension you are giving, that will be used. So if you don't want to change this save as type, you just provide the file name in the double quotation. So I'm giving here the file name as hello world.java. Now I'm clicking on save. So the file is saved. Now this is called as source code, and whatever files we have created, let's navigate it to D drive. code, we have hello world.java. So whatever file name we have, this is called as source file. So we have the source code and we have the source file. This is called as source code, hello world.java. Inside that, whatever code is there, that is called as source code, and the file where your source code will be saved is called as source file. So we have source file. Now we want to compile this. So let's compile it. Now we want to use Java compiler to compile this application. So I'm using Java compiler. Now let's say we have opened a new command prompt. Now we want to use the compiler. First I am going to verify whether compiler is available or not, accessible or not. I am using Java C and then version. What is the version of compiler we are going to use? So it is showing Java C 11.0.1, means we are going to use the JDK, that is version 11. So let's compile this. Our compiler is accessible. So I am saying Java C and then the source file name hello world.java. We are instructing compiler that there is a source code available called hello world.java. You just verify this instruction, the code available inside this, and match with the rules provided by the Java vendor. Verify the statement whether all the instructions are matching the required instructions or not. All the statement we have in the source code, it is following the required rules or not. So if it is following, if you see, let's verify this. So if I press enter here, if the file, it is saying that the file not found. The reason is we are trying to access the Java C and hello world.java from the location C drive user some location. So in this location, it is trying to search whether hello world.java is available or not. The source file, it is trying to search in the current location, and the source file is not available in the current location. So it is not compiling. It is saying file not found. So what we have to do is, you can change the location to your workspace. Workspace is the place where your files related to project will be stored. So in this case, I can say a D drive code is the directory where my files are available. Maybe one file, maybe multiple files. So whatever files required for my project, it is available inside this D drive core. So D drive core directory is the workspace directory. So I am changing the current working directory to the workspace location. I am changing the directory. So first I am changing the drive and then I am changing the directory. So now our location is, current working location is the workspace where our source code is available. Now let's verify. Try to compile this. So now Java C is accessible because of path. We have already set path for the Java C. So Java C is accessible and hello world.java file is available in the current location. So let's compile this. So now when we are trying to compile, if everything is fine, you can see there is a file got created called hello world.class. So the task of Java compiler is, it verifies the source code, and if there is no problem, then a .class file will be generated. It is called as bytecode. So the bytecode got generated. So now once you have the bytecode, you can start executing with the help of interpreter. So now I am trying to execute Java and then the class name. Here with the compiler, whatever you are giving, that is a source code name. Hello world.java. It is your source file name. Whatever file name you are giving when you are saving the file. But Java is the interpreter, and after that whatever name you are giving, that is actually a class name. So in your source code you have given some name. There is a name called class and hello world. So this is the name you are going to give when you are going to execute the program. So while compiling you have to give the source file name. While executing you are going to give the class name. Let's execute this now. So I'm executing. You can see the output is displayed on your console. So the task of this program was to display the message welcome to Java world on the console. It is displaying welcome to Java world and welcome to Java programming. So we can say we are able to execute our program. Now let's talk about a different version of JDK and JVM, JRE. So what I'm doing is, I just want to use JDK 1.8 and JDK 11. I want to use both. I'm just starting a new command prompt. And in first command prompt, we have seen the JavaC version. The JavaC version is 11.0. Let's verify the Java version, that is interpreter version. So the interpreter version is also 11. We have JavaC version as Java 11. We have Java version itself as Java 11. On the other prompt, I am setting the path for JDK 8 location. So I am changing this. I am navigating to C drive, program files, Java, JDK, bin, JDK 8 bin, and then copy this. Coming to the second command prompt, and then I am setting the path. Set path equals to, just I want to use a JDK 1.8. So I'm overwriting all other path. So now here if you see JavaC version, it is showing as 1.8. If I am checking the Java version, it is showing as 1.8. So our task is okay. Now I'm changing the drive to the working directory. Our current working directory I am changing to workspace where our source code is available. So both is ready. So one place we have Java version as JDK 11 and the other place we have Java version as JDK 8. Now let's compile this. I want to compile the source code. Our source code is in D drive code. Now I want to compile the source code using a JDK 1.8. So let's compile this. JavaC and then hello world dot Java. So I am going to compile the source code using JDK 1.8. So you can see the code got compiled. If there is an issue, if there is a problem, you will see the error on this console itself. So there is no problem. Now I want to execute this with the Java version 1.8. In this we have Java version 1.8. I am trying to execute this. I am saying Java and hello world. So we are able to execute successfully. So we are using compiler version 1.8 and we are using the interpreter version, that is 1.8. That is, you can say JRE 1.8. So the code that is compiled with 1.8 we can execute with 1.8 JRE. That's fine. Let's try to execute with JDK 11. I'm not recompiling, I'm just executing. I'm using Java. Let's verify the version. So Java version 11 here. Now I'm using Java and then hello world. Whether it will execute or not. Yes, it is. So if you are compiling the source code with JDK 1.8, then you will be able to execute that with the help of JRE 1.8, with the help of JRE 1.9, with the help of JRE 10, with the help of JRE 11. Means if you are compiling with 1.8, then with all other higher version, you will be able to execute this. Now I'm trying to check the vice versa. What if I'm compiling with 11 and I want to execute with JDK 1.8? So I'm using now compiler that is JDK 11. I'm using JavaC hello world.java. Compiler we are using that is 11.0. So JDK 11 compiler we are using. Now I'm testing what is the version of JRE, the interpreter. It is 11. I'm trying to execute this. It is able to execute. So if I'm compiling with JDK 11, I will be able to execute the program with JDK 11 or higher. But let's say, can I execute this with the lower version of JRE? Let's verify. Now on the other command prompt, we have the version that is 1.8. I'm trying to execute this. I'm not recompiling, I'm just executing. Java and hello world. So you can see some error. The error is unsupported class version error. It is showing that hello world has compiled a more recent version of Java, but you are trying to execute with lower version. So it is showing some class version 55.0, 52.0, something like this. So what happens is when you compile your source code, what happens? Depending on the compiler version you are using, a class version will be inserted in your class file. So if your compiler is a Java 4, that is a JDK 1.4, then the class version will be 48. If it is a Java 5, then the class version will be 49. If it is a Java 6, then the class version will be 50. Like this it will increase. If it is Java 7, the class version will be 51. If it is Java 8, the class version will be 52. If it is Java 9, the class version is 53. If it is Java 10, the class version is 54. And if you are using compiler called Java 11, then the class version will be 55. So when you are compiling this Java source code using the JDK 11 compiler in your class file, in your hello world.class, the class version will be inserted, that is 55.0. Now when you are going to execute this, they will verify that if I am executing with Java 11 itself, the JRE 11, then the class version is 55. It's fine, no problem. But if you are trying to execute with Java 8, it will verify that in your class the version is 55, but for the current JRE, the version required is 52. It is lower version, so you cannot execute that. Means if you compile a Java program with JDK 1.8 or JDK 8, then you can execute this with Java 8. You can also execute with Java 9. You can also execute with Java 10. You can also execute with Java 11 and so on. If you compile this with JDK 11, you will not be able to execute with the lower version of Java. You can execute with Java 11, you may execute with Java 12 and so on. Always the higher version of JVM can execute your program, but lower version of JVM cannot execute the application. If you are getting any kind of error, if the error is saying unsupported class version error, the problem is mismatching between the JDK version and the JVM version, mismatching between the compiler version and the JVM version, the interpreter version. So you have compiled your code with the recent version of Java, but you are trying to execute that class with lower version of JVM. In that case, you will get this error, unsupported class version error. So when you are executing application, you make sure that if you are using compiler that is 11, then the JVM version must be 11 or higher. Means the JVM will be either same as the compiler version or it will be higher than the compiler version. It should not be lower than the compiler version. This is how you can execute the Java program. So what you have to do is, you are going to write some source code and then you are going to save this file in some location that is called as workspace, and after that you are going to use the command prompt changing your working directory to the workspace where your source code is available, and then you are using compiler followed by the source file name to compile it, and then you are using interpreter followed by the class name to execute your Java program. This is how you are going to execute the Java application. The first Java application.